At my daughter's wedding 30 minutes before the ceremony, I overheard her groom laughing in the church hallway. That girl is so naive. I'm only after the money. Her dad's loaded at least 5 million. My hands shook as I hit record. They thought I was just a rich, trusting father. They had no idea what was coming. What I did next destroyed him completely. And my daughter and I gave the performance of our lives. Just the morning after the wedding, he walked straight into the trap. I'm grateful you're here. Tell me where you're watching from and what time it is. Right now, every father, every parent needs to hear this story. My wife, Catherine, used to say, I had good instincts. Joshua, she tell me you can smell trouble a mile away. She died when Harper was 12. And for the last 12 years, I'd used those instincts to protect our daughter alone. 35 years in business taught me to read people. I'd built Bennett Enterprises from one gas station to 12 locations across Colorado by trusting my gut. And right now, standing in St. Michael's Church, on the morning of my daughter's wedding, my gut was screaming that something was wrong. Harper, my only child, my 24-year-old daughter, was upstairs getting ready to marry Owen Fletcher. He seemed perfect on paper. Us who worked in accounting, charming personality, everyone loved him. My business associates' wives would gush. Harper's so lucky, but I'd spent decades reading people across negotiating tables, and Owen had a way of asking about Bennett. Enterprises that felt calculated, too many questions about revenue, too interested in Harper's trust fund. He'd even suggested she add him as a co-signer. For convenience, I'd arrived at the church an hour early. 10:30 instead of 11:30, told Harper. I wanted to check the wedding arrangements. One last time, that wasn't the real reason the church was quiet. When I walked in, Michelle, the wedding coordinator, was directing florist in the sanctuary. Mr. Bennett, you're early. Don't worry, everything's perfect. Just want to make sure I said GI. Ving her a quick smile, I walked down the side hallway toward the groomsmen's preparation area. I wasn't sure what I was looking for. Maybe just to see Owen before the ceremony, to gauge his mood, to silence the nagging feeling. Then I heard it, laughter. Owen's laugh, loud and confident, echoing from a half-open door ahead. I stopped mid-step. That laugh didn't belong to a nervous groom. It belonged to someone who thought they'd already won. Something. I moved closer, keeping my footsteps quiet. 5 years of walking through warehouses had taught me how to move without sound. The groomsmen's room door stood slightly ajar. Maybe 4 inches, shadows moved inside. Owen's voice came through clearly, now along with two others, Craig and Miles, his college buddies serving as groomsmen. My hand went to my jacket pocket, found my phone. My thumb moved, automatically silenced the ringer, opened the camera app, switched to video mode. I didn't know what I was about to record, maybe nothing. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe losing Catherine had made me overprotective of the only family I had left. But 35 years of business deals had taught me one thing. When your instincts scream, you listen. I positioned myself against the wall, where I could hear through the gap. Phone recording, my heart hammered against my ribs. Through the narrow opening, I could see Owen pacing, gesturing as he spoke. Craig and Miles sat in chairs listening. In 1 hour, I was supposed to walk Harper down the aisle of this church, the same church where Catherine and I were married. 2 years ago, Harper had specifically chosen St. Michael so her mother could be there with us. 150 guests were already starting to arrive. The flowers were arranged, the string quartet was setting up upstairs. Harper was probably stepping into her wedding dress right now, thinking this was the happiest day of her life, and I was standing in a hallway with a phone in my hand, recording a conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. I steadied my breathing and listened. Owen's voice car, ride clearly down the hall. Owen's voice carried down the hallway. She's so naive. Once I get power of attorney over her trust fund, I can start moving money gradually. My finger pressed record. I kept the phone steady, aimed at the gap in the door. The old man's loaded. Owen continued. Bennett Enterprises is worth at least 5 million. 12 gas stations, commercial real estate, all just sitting there. Owen, man, are you sure about this? Miles uncertain. Her dad seems sharp, decades in business. Owen laughed. Joshua, please. Too busy playing proud father of the bride. I've been acting this role for 2 years. Harper trusts me completely. 2 years, every family dinner, every holiday, all lies. What about the gambling debts? Craig asked quietly. You owe Rick over 700,000. Those guys aren't patient. Ah, that's why I need this. Owen snapped after the honeymoon. I'll make Harper add me to her accounts, tax purposes, financial planning, whatever. Then I transfer money gradually. She'll never notice. My hand tightened on the phone. And if she does notice, Miles asked. Pause when Owen spoke again. His voice was ice. Accidents happen on honeymoons. Hiking trails are dangerous. Hotel balconies, you know. He laughed, my daughter. He was talking about hurting my daughter. Jesus, Owen, Miles whispered. That's relax, I won't actually hurt her. Just drain enough to pay Rick, then disappear. Divorce, whatever. She'll cry for a while, but rich girls always recover. Rick's people broke someone's legs last month. Craig said, I know I need this money by month's end, or I'm dead. But after today, problem solved. 3 weeks I'm debt-free. What about Sarah Miles cut in? Her dad almost caught you last year. It's Sarah's father was paranoid. Owen dismissed, did a background check too early. But Joshua Bennett didn't even investigate me. Too trusting, too busy to notice. His daughter was dating a professional. Professional like it was a job. This is the third family, Miles said. Third time's the charm. Owen sounded proud. First, dad was ex-military, too suspicious. Second, girl got cold feet, but Harper's perfect, trusting, naive. And her father's so desperate to see her happy, he'll sign anything I pressed against the wall. Keeping the phone steady, every word was evidence. But he was talking about my little girl, the daughter who cried for months after Catherine died, who chose this church because her mother was married, here about 3 weeks. Owen said, I'll have $1 million pay, Rick. Keep the rest, disappear. Maybe try California next. Lots of rich families out there. Catherine, the promise I made in the hospital, protect Harper no matter what. I promise I wouldn't break it. Footsteps moving toward the door. I stepped back fast, phone sliding into my pocket, hands shaking, turned and walked quickly toward the main hallway, heart pounding behind me. The door opened, Owen's voice spilling out, casual laughing, like he hadn't just confessed to robbery and potential murder. I turned the corner before they saw me, found an alcove near the church office, stopped, leaned against the wall. My phone felt impossibly heavy. The church bells chimed. 11:15, 45 minutes until ceremony, 7 minutes until I was supposed to hand Harper to him. The hallway blurred for a second. I steadied myself. I had everything on, recording his confession, the debt Rick, the third family, the threat, but I had 45 minutes. I pushed off the wall and headed for the stairs. The bridal suite was on the second floor. I had to find Harper. The bridal suite was on the second floor. Each step felt heavier than the last. I paused outside, hearing Harper's excited laughter inside. How do you destroy your daughter's dreams? On her wedding day, I knocked. Sarah, Harper's best friend, opened the door. Mr. Bennett, we're almost. Could you ladies give us a moment? I need to speak with Harper alone. The bridesmaids exchanged glances but filed out quietly. Harper turned from the mirror. She looked exactly like Catherine on our wedding day. The white lace dress, $8,000, made her glow. And I was about to shatter everything. Daddy, she's so. Pun, showing off the dress, do you? She stopped, seeing my face. Dad, what's wrong, sweetheart? Sit down. You're scaring me. Her hand went to her throat. What happened? I need you to watch something. All of it, don't stop, no matter what you hear. I handed her my phone with the video ready. Dad, what is this? Just watch. Please. She pressed play. I watched her face instead of the screen. First 30 seconds confusion. Why are you showing me Owen talking to his friends? 1 minute mark. Her expression changed, eyes widening, hand covering mouth. No, she whispered. This is a joke, right? Tell me this is a joke. 2 minutes. Tears started silent at first, then shoulders shaking. 2 years. Dad, we've been together 2 years. The phone trembled. Everything was a lie when it ended. Owen's laugh fading. Harper dropped the phone. She doubled over, hands covering her face. Sobbing, I knelt beside her, pulled her close like when she was little when she'd fallen. When kids were mean when Catherine died and we both cried for hours, I loved him. She gasped, I trusted him. How could I be so stupid? You're not stupid. I held her tighter. He's a professional, done this to 2 other families. You couldn't have known, but you knew something was wrong. She pulled back, mascara streaking. Why didn't you? I didn't know until 30 minutes ago. I heard them in the hallway and recorded it. She shook. Third family. He said I was the third. I know accidents on honeymoons. He said. She couldn't finish. I heard, my jaw clenched. But he won't touch you, I promise. Harper looked at me devastated. Mom would have known. She always knew when something was wrong. Catherine, the wound that never quite healed. Your mother trusted my instincts. Right now they're screaming at me to protect you. I wish she was here. Harper's voice broke. I miss her. She should be here for this. I know I brushed hair from her face when your mom was dying. She made me promise to protect you no matter what. I won't break that promise. Harper took a shuddering breath, wiped her face, smearing makeup. What do I do? There are 250 people downstairs. The ceremony's in 40 minutes. She grabbed her phone. I have to cancel right now. I'll tell everyone I caught her hand. Wait, she stared, confused and desperate. Wait, Dad, I can't marry him. I can't walk down that aisle. And I took both her hands. Before you call anyone, let me tell you what I'm thinking. Harper's face was destroyed. Tears, makeup, confusion. The glowing bride was gone. In her place was my scared daughter. Harper stared at me, tears on her cheeks. What are you thinking, Dad? I took a breath. This would sound insane if you cancel now. What happens? Owen walks away free. He does this to another family, another daughter. Harper's eyes widened. But Dad, I can't marry him. Not knowing what, if we give him exactly what he wants. Let him think he's winning, then we destroy him. She shook her head. You want me to marry a con artist? Listen, I leaned forward. Owen's a professional criminal. Done this to 2 other families. He'll keep doing it unless someone stops him. But if we cancel, he disappears, changes his name, finds another target. But if we play along how? We let the wedding happen. Both of us act normal, act happy while her voice cracked after the wedding. I bring him into the business, give him controlled access to accounts, and then he'll try to steal. That's wire fraud, federal crime. We document everything. Then we call the FBI. Harper stared. FBI. I know an agent, Agent Burke. He'll help us build a case that puts Owen away. For years, she paced in her dress. You want me to live with him? No, you'll never be truly alone. Burke's team will be close. We move fast, 2.3 weeks maximum. 2 weeks pretending I love someone who threatened to kill me. The words hung there. Harper, I move closer. I know this is the hardest thing I've ever asked, but you're the strongest person I know. You got that from your mother. Catherine's name made her eyes fill again. We do this together, I said. You and me, like everything since Mom died. We're a team. She looked at the mirror, the glowing BR. I was gone. Someone else stood there, older, harder. If I do this, you stay with me the whole way. Don't let me face him alone. Every step, I promise. What if he gets suspicious? He won't. He thinks you're naive. I'm too trusting. We use that against him. Long silence. Then she wiped her face. What do I need to do first? Fix your makeup. Then we walked downstairs. During the ceremony, you're the happiest bride in the world. I don't know if I can. Yes, you can. You're Catherine Bennett's daughter. You're stronger than you think. She took a shaky breath after the wedding reception. Smile for photos. I'll announce I'm bringing Owen into the business. He'll be thrilled. Then Harper looked at me for a long moment, then straightened her shoulders. Okay, help me fix my makeup. I found tissues, helped wipe mascara streaks. She reapplied what she could, hands trembling. A knock. Michelle's voice. Mr. Bennett Harper. It's time. Harper looked at me, eyes asking a silent question. I held out my arm ready. She took it, picked up her bouquet, hand shaking, but voice steady. Let's go. We walked to the door together. Harper paused, took one more breath. I can do this, she whispered, more to herself than me. I know you can. The door opened. Michelle smiled oblivious. Oh, Harper, you look beautiful. Everyone's waiting. Harper squeezed my arm. I squeezed back. The church doors opened ahead. The wedding march began. The church doors opened, and 50 faces turned toward us. The wedding march began, and I felt Harper's hand tighten on my arm. In 35 years of business, I'd negotiated million-dollar deals without breaking a sweat, but walking my daughter toward a con artist, every step felt like betrayal. Catherine should be here. She should be watching this. Instead, I was the only thing standing between Harper and a predator. We walked down the aisle. Guests smiled, some dabbing tears. They saw a beautiful bride and her proud father. They had no idea I glanced at Harper. Her face was composed, serene, a small smile for the guests, but I felt the slight tremor in her hand. That's my girl, stronger than she knows. Owen stood at the altar in an expensive suit, confident smile in place when he looked at Harper. His expression was perfect, loving, nervous, overjoyed. He's good, I thought. Almost had me fooled. We reached the front. Father Samuel smiled warmly. Who gives this woman to be married? I do. The words tasted like ash for now. You bastard, but not for long. I placed Harper's hand in Owen's. He squeezed it gently, whispered something I couldn't hear. Harper smiled up at him. Perfect acting. I took my seat in the front row. The space beside me was empty. Catherine should have been there. Father Samuel began, Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. I watched Owen's face. He played his part flawlessly. The nervous groom stealing glances at his bride, radiating happiness. Owen Fletcher, do you take Harper Bennett to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. His voice was strong, clear, full of emotion. Liar, Harper Bennett, do you take Owen Fletcher to be your lawfully wedded husband? A pause, barely a second. Only I noticed it then, firm and clear. I do. I saw her hand tremble as Owen slid the ring onto her finger. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Father Samuel beamed, you may kiss the bride. Owen pulled Harper close and kissed her. The congregation erupted in applause. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. The recessional music began. Owen and Harper walked back down the aisle, hand in hand, smiling and waving, the perfect newlyweds as they passed my row. Harper's eyes found mine just for a second, a tiny nod. I'm okay, Dad, I exhaled slowly. The church bells began to ring. Rice and flower petals showered down as guests poured outside. I watched through the doorway as Owen and Harper climbed into the limousine. Harper glanced back through the window. Our eyes met. I mouthed, I'm right behind you. She nodded once, then the car pulled away toward Evergreen Estate. I stood alone in the church entrance. Phase 1 complete around me. Guests chatted excitedly, heading to their CA. They just witnessed a beautiful ceremony, a fairy tale wedding. If they only knew, I loosened my tie slightly, took a breath, 15 minutes until the reception, 15 minutes until phase 2 began. My phone buzzed. A text from Harper, made it to venue. I'm okay, I texted back. I'm coming now, stay strong. I walked to my car, started the engine. The drive to Evergreen Estate took 15 minutes. 15 minutes to prepare for the performance we'd both have to give for the next several hours. Evergreen Estate was 15 minutes from the church. By the time I arrived, cocktail hour was in full swing. Harper and Owen stood at the entrance, greeting guests. To everyone else, they looked like the perfect couple. Only I knew the truth inside. The ballroom glowed with candles and white flowers. It looked like a fairy tale. If only they knew this fairy tale had a monster. Dinner began. Time for speeches. I stood glass in hand. 250 faces turned toward me. Or years ago when Harper was born, her mother Catherine, and I made a promise to protect our little girl. No matter what, I paused. Catherine isn't here today, but I know she's watching, and she'd be proud. I looked at Owen. He smiled back, playing his part. Owen, you're not just gaining a wife, you're joining a family, and family means everything to us, especially protecting family from people like you. To Harper and Owen, the room echoed. To Harper and Owen, 20 minutes later. Owen found me at the bar. Sir, thank you, that was beautiful. What you said about family, it means everything to me. I meant every word, son, he leaned in. I know we haven't known each other long, but I'd love to learn from you. The business, how you build everything. There it was I pretended to consider. You know I could use help with the expansion I've been planning. His eyes lit up, really. I'd be honored. Let's talk Monday. Come by the office. I'll show you how everything works. I shook his hand firmly. Hook, line, and sinker. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. He had no idea. He just signed his own arrest warrant. Later, the FA. Their daughter dance, unforgettable, played Catherine's favorite song. Harper whispered, voice tight. Dad, I don't know if I can keep doing this. He keeps touching me, calling me Mrs. Fletcher. It makes me sick. I know, sweetheart. I kept my voice low. Smile fixed, just a few more hours. Then you're at the hotel. I arranged the room next to yours. Agent Burke's team. The FBI agent, one wall away. Anything happens. You call 30 seconds, okay? I can do this. You're doing perfectly. Your mother would be proud. The song ended. I kissed her forehead, handed her back to Owen. I watched him work the room, charming my business associates, dropping hints about contributing to the family business. Craig and Miles stood in the corner, avoiding my gaze. They knew let them sweat. Midnight, the last guest left. Harper and Owen departed in the limousine to the Grand Aspen Hotel. I watched the taillights disappear. My phone buzzed. Harper made it to room. He's in shower. Burke's team next door. I'm safe. Thank you, Dad. Me, I love you. 2 more days. Then Monday, we start phase 2. I drove home alone, sat in the driveway, staring at the empty passenger seat where Catherine used to sit after parties. I'm keeping my promise, sweetheart, I whispered. She'll be okay. The weekend crawled. Harper texted every few hours, managing barely. Owen was already asking about Bennett Enterprises, about accounts, about expansion plans. He was getting eager, desperate. Even good Monday morning came. I arrived at the office at 8:30, made coffee, reviewed the files. Agent Burke and I had prepared over the weekend, the beta counts, the access codes, the monitoring software, everything ready. At 9 sharp, Owen walked into my office dressed in a suit, carrying a leather portfolio, trying to look professional. Good morning, sir. Thank you again for this opportunity. I shook his hand and smiled. Come on in, son. Let me show you what we do here. Monday morning, Owen arrived at my office at 9 sharp, eager and dressed to impress. Good morning, sir. Thank you again for this opportunity. Shook his hand and smiled. Come on in, son. Let me show you what we do here. I led him through Bennett Enterprises. Our headquarters wasn't fancy, just a 3-story building near downtown Aspen, with offices for accounting, operations, and property management. We started with one gas station 30 years ago. I said, walking him past framed photos on the wall. Now we have 12 locations, plus commercial real estate holdings. Owen studied everything with hungry eyes. I brought him to my office, opened a file on my computer. This is our holding account, where we keep liquid capital before investment opportunities. He leaned in, looking at the screen. $850,000, that's quite a bit just sitting there, he said carefully. Been meaning to invest it, but haven't found the right opportunity. I clicked to another screen, which is where you come in, Sir Owen. I want to bring you on as a consultant. See how you think. I'll give you access to review the accounts, run some analysis. Tell me where you see opportunities. His eyes lit up, but he tried to play it cool. I'd be happy to help, sir, here. I wrote down login credentials on a notepad, handed it to him, limited access for now. View only, get familiar with how we operate. Thank you, sir. I won't disappoint you. What Owen didn't know, Agent Burke and I had set this up over the weekend. Honeypot account, every keystroke he made would be recorded by FBI monitoring software. The $850,000 wasn't real company money. It was bureau bait over the next week. Owen came to the office daily, started asking for more access, got comfortable Wednesday. He made his first suggestion. Sir, this money in the holding account, it's just sitting there earning minimal interest. We should move it to higher yield investments. Interesting. I said, keep analyzing Thursday. Harper texted, he's pressuring me, wants me to sign papers for tax purposes. Says it'll help us file jointly. I texted back, don't sign anything. Tell him you want me to review first. Okay, he's getting impatient. Good, I thought impatient people make mistakes. Friday afternoon. Owen stepped out to take a phone call. I watched through my office window. His body language changed, tense shoulders hunched, hand running through his hair. When he came back and his face was pale. Everything. Okay, I asked. Concerned father-in-law act firmly in place. Yeah, just old friend. Nothing important, Rick. I thought the creditor. Time to push the button. Oh, and I need a favor, of course, sir. Anything I have to fly to Seattle tomorrow? Business emergency while I'm gone? I need you to handle a supplier payment, $150,000 to Cascade Supply Company. I pulled up another screen, showed him I'm giving you elevated access. To make the wire transfer, the routing information will be in your email. Just need it done by Wednesday. He hesitated just a fraction of a second. Then, of course, sir, I'll take care of it. Harper tells me you're good with finances. I trust you. Let's see if you deserve that trust. I won't let you down. I close my laptop. My flight leaves early tomorrow. I'll be back Friday. Think you can handle things here? Absolutely. I shook his hand. Good man. I left the office, got in my car, sat for a moment before starting the engine. Called Agent Burke. It's done. He has access. The bait is set. You're sure he'll take it? He's desperate. His creditors pressuring him. He owes $700,000 and the deadline's approaching. He has no choice. And you're not actually going to Seattle. I'll be at your field office watching every move. We'll be ready. See you tomorrow. Mr. Bennett, I started the car and drove toward the FBI office in Denver. Tuesday afternoon would tell us everything. Tuesday afternoon, FBI field office downtown. Agent Burke and I had been monitoring Owen's computer activity for 6 hours so far. He'd logged in 3 times, looked at the accounts, but hadn't made any moves. He's being careful, Burke said, eyes on the screens, waiting until he thinks you're really gone. I checked my watch, 2:40. He's got until tomorrow to make that supplier payment. He's running out of time. Burke's P8. Unbuzzed, she looked at the screen and smiled. He's logging in now. I leaned forward. 3 monitors showed Owen's screen in real time. FBI tech wizardry. I didn't fully understand, but it worked. 2:47, Owen's cursor moved across the screen, clicking into the Bennett Enterprises account system. He's in, Burke said quietly, recording everything I watched my son-in-law, still technically my son-in-law, navigate to the holding account, $850,000 displayed on screen. His cursor hovered over the transfer funds button. Here we go, Burke whispered. 52. Owen clicked, the transfer window opened. Amount $150,000 destination. This was it. Would he send it to Cascade Supply? Like I'd instructed, Burke's fingers flew across her keyboard, running the routing number. A beep text appeared on her screen. Offshore account Cayman Islands registered to O. Fletcher. There it is, I said quietly. That's wire fraud. Burke confirmed federal crime. We've got him, but Owen wasn't done. 55. Another transfer initiated. Amount $75,000. Same offshore account. He's getting greedy. Burke observed 258. Owen tried to access the main business account, the real Bennett Enterprises operating funds, over $2 million. The system blocked him. My actual security protocols kicked in. Owen typed frantically, trying different passwords. He's trying to get to the real company money, I said, attempted embezzlement. Burke was already reaching for her phone. That's another charge. She dialed, this is Agent Burke. Subject has committed wire fraud of $225,000, attempting to access additional secured accounts. We have multiple federal violations. Green light for arrest, proceed. She hung up, Teams moving. Minutes, I kept watching the screen. Owen was still typing. Still trying to break through to the main account. Still trying to steal from my family. 2 years, I thought. 2 years of lying to my daughter, and it ends like this. Catherine, I kept my promise. Threw free on the monitor. Owen's office door burst open. 4 FBI agents, weapons drawn. Owen jumped up from the desk, hands S. Hooting up, What's going on, FBI? Owen Fletcher, don't move. There's been a mistake. You were just stealing $225,000 from your father-in-law's company. The agents moved in, cuffed him, read him his rights as they pulled his arms behind his back. Owen's face went through stages: shock, panic, then rage. I want a lawyer. This is a setup. Joshua authorized this transfer. Burke spoke into her phone. Bring him in. She turned to me. Want to be there when they bring him in? Yes, I do. 20 minutes later, I stood in the hallway of the FBI building. Footsteps echoed. Two agents appeared, Owen between them in handcuffs. His expensive suit wrinkled now, hair disheveled, face pale. He saw me standing in the doorway of the interrogation room. Our eyes met. I watched recognition. Dawn watched him piece it together. His expression changed from confusion to understanding. His eyes widened. You, he whispered. You knew this whole time? I didn't smile, didn't gloat, just looked at him. The man who'd planned to rob my family, who'd threatened my daughter, who'd lied for 2 years straight. Yes, I said simply from the beginning. Owen stared at me from across the interrogation table, handcuffs binding his wrists, two federal agents flanking him. The confident con artist had vanished. In his place sat a desperate man, cornered, who just realized he'd been played at his own game. Yu's voice barely rose above a whisper. You knew this whole time. I stepped into the room, hands in my pockets. Yes, the wedding. I heard everything in that church hallway. I pulled out my phone and set it on the table. You, Craig, and Miles, your $700,000 debt to Rick, your plan to drain my daughter's trust fund, the part about accidents happening on honeymoons. I let each word land. You're the third family. Owen, Sarah's father, almost caught you, but I did. His face drained of color. Harper, he managed. She watched the video 30 minutes before. She walked down that aisle. I leaned forward, every smile, every vow, every kiss. She knew exactly who you were. Well, he both did. Agent Burke stepped in. Mr. Fletcher, in addition to wire fraud and attempted embezzlement, we've connected you to 2 prior cases in Nevada and Oregon, the U.S. Attorney is recommending 8 to 10 years. Federal prison. Owen's hands trembled. I can explain. No, I interrupted. You can't. You're done. I walked out without looking back. 3 months later, Judge Morrison sentenced Owen Fletcher to 8 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years supervised release. Agent Burke told me. 2 more victims came forward during sentencing. Families Owen had targeted before ours. The pattern was always the same charm. Engagement, trust fund, access, disappearance. On a quiet Saturday morning, I drove to Maplewood Cemetery and stood before Catherine's grave. I knelt to place fresh flowers at the headstone. I kept my promise, I said softly. Harper's safe. She's strong, stronger than I ever imagined. You'd be so proud of her. The wind rustled through the trees, and for a moment I felt Catherine beside me. Harper threw herself into Bennett Enterprises. After the trial, she proposed a new expansion strategy, studied our operations, and slowly began to heal. The nightmares came less frequently. The sharp edges of betrayal softened into wisdom. I'm learning to trust my own instincts now, Dad, she told me one evening. Just like you and Mom taught me. 1 year later, Harper brought someone to Sunday dinner. Dad, this is Noah Campbell. He's an architect with Morrison and Associates. Noah stood, offered his hand with a genuine smile, one that reached his eyes. Respectful, patient. I shook his hand and studied him. The way I'd learned over 35 years in business. Noah didn't flinch. He met my gaze directly. It's an honor to meet you. Mr. Bennett Harper's told me about your work. We talked. I asked careful, probing questions. Noah answered honestly. He mentioned his parents, his younger sister, his dog. He didn't ask about Harper's trust fund. He didn't hint at business opportunities. When Harper laughed at something, Noah said, I saw the lightness return to her eyes, the lightness Owen had stolen. Later that night, I sat at my desk with Catherine's photo beside me. Through the doorway, I could hear Harper and Noah talking, their voices warm with genuine connection. Dennis Walsh's background check on Noah sat in my drawer. Clean record, stable career. No debts, no red flags this time. I was sure, because the best revenge isn't destruction, It's protection. It's teaching your daughter to rise stronger. It's watching her choose wisely. The second time, armed with wisdom bought at a terrible price. I glanced at Catherine's photo one more time. We did it together just like always. The lights in the living room glowed soft and golden, and somewhere in the distance, I heard Harper laugh again. Looking back on everything that happened, I realized God was watching over us every step of the way. When I stood in that church hallway and heard Owen's confession, it wasn't luck, it was divine intervention. God gave me the instinct to protect my daughter when she needed it most. If you're reading this true story, here's my advice. Don't wait like I almost did. Don't ignore the warning signs because you want to believe the best in people. Trust but verify always. Grandpa stories like mine aren't just about revenge. They're about protection. It's about teaching our children to be strong, to trust their instincts, and to know that family will always have their back. God blessed me with Catherine's wisdom, and even after she passed, her voice guided me through the darkest moment. This true story taught me that the best way to honor the people we love is to stand guard over those they left behind. Harper's thriving now because we didn't let evil win. Grandpa stories matter because they remind us evil exists, but so does justice. These are the true story moments that shape generations. Grandpa stories teach us we have the tools to fight back. We just have to be brave enough to use them. Have you ever had to protect someone you love from betrayal? Thank you for watching this video. Share your thoughts in the comments. I truly value every story and every voice. Don't forget to subscribe to Voices of Uncle Bernard and share this video with your friends.